They thought the first fake agency was the end of it. They were wrong. Inside the very heart of the Nigerian civil service, inside the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, another phantom empire was operating in plain sight. Office space, letterheads, coordinators in 20 states, even representatives in the United States and China. And the president has spoken. Arrest, suspension. And the walls are still closing in. This is not just another corruption news. This is the news of how deep the roads may still go. Stay with us. It began, according to sources close to the investigation, with a second meeting in 48 hours. ICPC Chairman Musa Aliyu, SAN, walked into the presidential villa on that Friday carrying more than documents. He was carrying a bomb. The first briefing had already exposed the so-called Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, a body that never received a presidential approval, yet somehow found its way into budget conversations. But the second briefing was different. Aliyu's voice, according to those present, was colder this time. Mr. President, we have found another one. Same building, same pattern, different name, same disease. The name dropped like a stone. National Brands Development and Made in Nigeria Special Project Office. No presidential authorization, no legal instrument of creation. Yet it had been allocated office space inside the SGF complex. And the man at the center? A figure who operated under at least 4 other name variations. George Nathan Nwabueze, Honorable George Buchi Nwabueze, Prince George Buchi Nwabueze. President Tinubu did not hesitate. 2 directives left the villa that same day. Immediate arrest of Prince George Buchi Nwabueze. Immediate suspension of 3 permanent secretaries, M.S. Danjuma, Engineer Nadungu Gegari, and Richard P. Filangwa, pending further investigation. But here's the question that is already keeping Abija awake. How does a completely fictitious office get space, staff titles, and a national network? Unless someone inside the system opened the door, we'll take you inside that door next. Picture this. A suite of rooms inside one of the most sensitive government complexes in Nigeria, nameplates, official-looking letterheads, an executive director/national coordinator, 3 zonal directors, 20 state coordinators, even claimed representation in the United States and China. All of it fake. Investigators say the structure was elaborate enough to look real to the untrained eye. Real enough, allegedly, that some civil servants treated correspondence from it as legitimate. Sources claim the promoter moved with confidence, introducing himself with different titles depending on the room he entered. One day, Prince. Another day, Honorable. Always the same mission: brand development, made in Nigeria, special projects, words that sound patriotic, words that open doors. Whether those conversations happened exactly that way, only the ongoing investigation will reveal. What is already public is that ICPC believes there were active suspected collaborators inside the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. And that is why 3 permanent secretaries are now suspended. But suspension is not the end of the news. In the corridors of power, suspension is often just the beginning of the real war. Who protected the phantom office? Who looked the other way? And who still has something to hide? We go deeper after the break. Let us put faces to the suspensions. M.S. Danjuma, Engineer Nadungu Gagari, Richard P. Filangwa. 3 senior civil servants, men who reached the rank of permanent secretary, the very engine room of government. They are suspended. Their offices sealed for investigation. Their phones, according to multiple sources, already ringing with the same question from every direction. What did you know? And when did you know it? In the civil service, a permanent secretary is not just a bureaucrat. He is the institutional memory. He is the gatekeeper. He is the man who can make a file move or make it disappear. If ICPC's suspicions prove correct that collaborators existed inside the SGF system, then the suspension of these three is not merely administrative. It is a warning shot. Already, political operators in Abuja are whispering two competing theories. Theory 1, this is a genuine cleanup. Tinubu is determined to show that no one, not even senior permanent secretaries, is above the law when it comes to phantom agencies. Theory 2, this is the opening move in a much larger purge. That more names will fall. That the SGF's office itself is now under the fiercest scrutiny it has faced in years. Which theory is true? The answer may lie in the next set of documents ICPC is already examining. And those documents, sources say, contain more than just one fake office. Stay locked in. One fake agency was shocking. Two is a pattern. First came the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, a body the presidency has publicly disowned. Then, during the same investigation, the National Branch Development and Made in Nigeria Special Project Office emerged. Investigators now believe the two may not be isolated. Same complex, same alleged procedural weaknesses, same question hanging over every briefing. How many more are still out there? Sources close to the probe claim ICPC is now mapping every special project office, every presidential council administration, every national coordinator title that cannot produce a clear presidential instrument of creation. The net is widening. Those footprints, according to people familiar with the briefings, already point toward more individuals, some still active inside the system, some who have already begun to disappear from WhatsApp groups and official directories. The arrest order for George Buchin Wabueze is only the first public move. But what happens when the next name is not a private promoter, but another permanent secretary, or a director, or someone even higher? The temperature in Abuja just rose another degree. Beyond the headlines and the suspensions lies a quieter, more dangerous news. Inside the civil service, careers are being recalculated in real time. Officers who once signed routine allocation letters are suddenly rereading every memo they ever touched. One mid-level official, speaking on condition of anonymity, told our team, when they suspend 3 permanent secretaries in one day, nobody sleeps. You start asking yourself, was I in that meeting? Did I stamp that paper? Did I even know what I was stamping? This is how institutions begin to clean themselves, or how fear begins to freeze them. Politically, the implications are even larger. Every opposition voice will demand full disclosure. Every ruling party defender will insist this proves the president's anti-corruption resolve. And every permanent secretary still sitting in their office will be calculating the distance between the desk and the next ICPC briefing. The question is no longer whether more heads will roll. The question is how many and how high. We have one final segment, and it may be the most important. President Tinubu has drawn a line, arrest the promoter, suspend the permanent secretaries, continue the investigation. But lines in Nigerian politics have a habit of moving. ICPC has already signaled that the probe is ongoing. More briefings are expected, more documents are being examined. And in the shadows of the SGF complex, people who once felt protected are suddenly looking over their shoulders. This news began with a fake agency that should never have existed. It has already claimed 3 senior civil servants and 1 alleged mastermind. It may not end there. If the pattern holds, if more phantom offices are waiting to be found, then what we are watching is not just the fall of a few individuals. We are watching a stress test of the entire machinery of government. Will the next briefing produce more arrests? Will more permanent secretaries fall? Will the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation itself face deeper structural reform? Or will the system close ranks, slow the investigation, and wait for the cameras to look away? We do not yet know. But one thing is already clear. In the Nigeria of 2026, the age of easy phantom agencies may finally be ending. Or it may only be just beginning. This is the news that will not sleep, and neither should you. We'll be watching every move. You should too.